Hey guys, this is Andrew. Today I want to talk to you about what you need to know about the math section of the SAT. The first thing that you need to make sure that you know is to know the formulas. I've got a sheet right here that shows you at the beginning of each math section you are given all of those formulas. You can get that. Those are on each and every one of the practice tests that you can download directly from the College Board website. Excuse me. And those formulas are given to you at the beginning of every math section, so make sure you know them because they will expect you to know what those formulas are and how to use them. The second thing is that when you are learning how to solve these problems, don't just look at it and understand it. Even if you get a tutor, even if you watch my videos with me showing you how to do it, don't just watch them once to make sure that you see how it works. Because just because you can see how it works does not mean that you are going to be able to do it yourself when it comes down to it on the test. So you want to try to master those concepts so that you can solve them yourself when you're under pressure, when you're on the clock, when you're taking the actual test. Another thing about the math section is to make sure that you look at the answers before you start working on the problem. The reason you do this is because you don't want to come up with a decimal answer when they're looking for fractions, or you don't want to come up with a answer that's in the form of a fraction when they're looking for a decimal. Now you can easily convert between those two, but you just want to make sure that you know what your answer should look like, and that will give you a clue as to how to solve the problem. The other thing is that when you're practicing, you want to know what section you're in. So there is a section where you're allowed to use the calculator, and there is a section where you're not allowed to use the calculator. So if you're not allowed to use the calculator, then a big long decimal answer is probably not correct because you wouldn't be able to get that without the use of a calculator. And while we're on the subject of calculators, just because a question is in the calculator allowed section does not mean that you have to use your calculator. A lot of those problems, in fact, probably almost all of those problems on the calculator section can be solved without the use of the calculator. A lot of them, just like I mentioned earlier, have decimals and things like that you can't do quickly in your head. However, you can solve each and every one of those problems without the use of a calculator. So don't necessarily rely on your calculator so much, but know how to use it as a tool to help you get the best score that you can. The last thing is, and the reason I save this for last is because these questions are last on the math section. The fill in the blank questions. Do not be afraid of those questions. Almost every student that I've tutored is afraid to answer those fill in the blank questions because there's no multiple choice. Once you get your answer, if you don't see a bank of choices, then for whatever reason, that causes some students to have a little bit of anxiety around those questions. A lot of times those questions are fairly easy, fairly straightforward, simple to answer because you have to fill in the blank with your answer. There are no answer choices. So just make sure that you're practicing those as well because you want to get your best score. You want to answer each and every question as best you can. So that wraps it up for what you need to know about the math section. If you want to dive a little deeper, then I'd suggest you jump on over to besttestscores.com. I'm going to link all that below in the video. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can get more stuff just like this for free. And I'll see you guys later.